Try I banned his I did in fact ban his hunter earlier. So there we go. And it looks like they're getting right into things, so let's hop in and spectate.
Anduin versus Valyra.
Watch your back.
The light shall
So we're gonna see the Miracle Rogue come out versus the combo Dragon Priest from Aaron. Allow me to quickly bring up that deck. Combo Dragon Priest is here. Assuming, yeah. I'm gonna quickly ask for bans during turn 1 where nothing big is happening. Reasonable starting hand from Aaron. He sees the Crazed Alchemist that was eluding him all the time last time. Okay, so Aaron bans the Tempo Mage, which he feels like he has a bad matchup against, and Chris bans the Kingsbane Rogue. So yeah, we're gonna see combo Dragon Priest against Miracle Rogue. I feel like this is favored for the Priest, but I cannot be 100% sure here. I do feel like eventually as Priest you're gonna be able to stick a minion and then just OTK. Edrispy Historian is unfortunate here without a dragon in hand. We see that not Spiteful, despite the label, the combo Dragon Priest here runs, let's see, 2 Duskbreakers, 2 Drakes, and 2 Operatives. Are those all the dragons? Looks like those are. So only 6 dragons, which I believe is standard, but it's a little rough for consistency at times. And so he's just going to drop a Radiant Elemental. I think there's some thought about dropping the Talon Priest at 3-4 on curve, but the effect is so strong that it feels a little bad doing so. From the other side, we're going to see a very good draw there, SI, which allows him to clear it while developing a minion of his own. Otherwise, he might have been forced to commit an Eviscerate or something. The Radiant Elemental is always a very scary minion to leave alive. Twilight Drake comes a turn too late, but it'll be interesting to see whether, yeah, he's not going to play his only dragon. Instead, he's going to Discover first with the Nether Spite, and I think he might be considering the Scaled Nightmare here. Now, he isn't going to go for the safe pick, the Duskbreaker, and it makes sense. Scaled Nightmare is fairly vulnerable to Sap, but it is also a fairly difficult minion to clear. Outer Race Strider comes off the top, another really good draw, allowing him to develop one of the biggest threats and sort of one of the win conditions off this Miracle deck, which is just getting a bunch of spiders and rolling over your opponent. We see he also has Leroy and 1 Shadow Step in hand, plus the Eviscerate. This is representing a whole lot, 16 damage from hand. Twilight Acolyte coming out is not a massive threat. It's a 4/4 -2 attack on the Foundere, but it does let him contest the minions on board. Yep, so apparently Daniel is getting on his plane, which is why their series halted for a bit. They'll be playing out the rest of their series later. So we just remember that. Was it? I believe Daniel, yeah, Daniel goes up 1-0. So we see Chris opt to Shadow Step the Foundere as both a way to proc, to restore its lost attack, proc the combo on Eviscerate, and shuffle 3 more Spectral Spiders into his deck. I like this play. It gives him a lot of flexibility. We're probably going to see a Twilight Drake come out. No, he's going to go for a Duskbreaker. Interesting. Duskbreaker lets him contest the board a little better, I guess. He doesn't want to play it after Twilight Drake when you have no more dragons left in hand. But it is much less threatening from a stats perspective. We see on the tech the Acidic Swamp Oozes, only Acidic Swamp Ooze in fact, from Chris here come out because it has no particular utility in this matchup. And he opts to kill the Northshire Cleric instead of the 3/3 Duskbreaker. That's an interesting choice here. He really wants to deny draws, seeing that, I mean, these have been some fairly awkward plays for the Priest player here. So he wants to deny draws and not let the Priest draw into combo. But it does leave the larger static Duskbreaker on board, which he's going to buff up and kill the Acidic Swamp Ooze with. Another SI7 allows Chris to kill the damaged Duskbreaker again. Now we have a Twilight Drake that can be buffed up to 16 attack. Is this lethal? This is 7, 14, wait. This is 7, 10, 20. Yeah, this is exact lethal from Aaron. Let's see if he spots it. He's probably doing the math right now. And it does look like he is spotting it. So, Armored Shield buffs set to 7, Talon Priest buffs set to 10, Mind Spirit puts it to 20, and Crazed Alchemist shifts it to 20 attack, allowing the lethal. So we are going to see a 1-0 in favor of Aaron. And this combo priest has been serving him really well thus far in really all of the series he's played so far. So let me quickly adjust the decks because I forgot to do that earlier. This is what's going on, and we'll see what Chris opts to play next. So when he was against me, he chose to go with Secret Mage as a second deck. Although in my case, I banned Hunter instead of the Paladin that Aaron banned.
Anduin versus.
Never mind, Aaron banned Mage. Sorry, I banned Hunter. In any case, we're gonna see the Dude Paladin come out. Very strong deck. And I believe it has a strong matchup against combo just because it can flood the board with such, well, rapidity. But we'll see whether or not Aaron is able to deal with this. He does have a turn 1 Northshire, which is always a strong play, and we see that there isn't a convincing 1-drop from Chris, so he passes his first turn and has to play a mere Knife Juggler on turn 2. We do see that Aaron does not have a dragon to proc his Netherspite Historian, which is always a shame. So he's just going to Power Word Shield and dig a little deeper into his deck, I suppose. I think right now he's debating hitting face versus hitting the Juggler and coining out a heal for another draw. I think trading a coin for another card is well worth it here, especially given that he doesn't run Lyra the Sun Shard. Lyra's got him fairly uncommon, but we still see it in occasional decks. Call to Arms is a great pickup here from Chris. We'll see if he commits it on turn 4 immediately, or if he's scared of the threat of Duskbreaker punishing him. And 2 Juggles go into the Northshire, allowing the Juggler to clear the Northshire. That's pretty good. Potion of Madness here is gonna let Aaron clear off this board nice and easy, and he's gonna use Shadow Visions too to dig for probably a second Divine Spirit. He's assembling combo pieces very quickly. I think there's also an argument for a second Potion of Madness just as a more defensive option. I wouldn't be opposed to that either. But he really wants to see this Duskbreaker come soon, and so he is gonna dig for the second Potion of Madness. Uses Potion of Madness to clear this. This doesn't matter which minion he pulls because there's no resurrect mechanics in either deck, but otherwise that would be something to think about. I believe neither deck can discover one either. Chris is not intimidated at all by the threat of a potential Duskbreaker, which does get drawn, but Aaron does not yet have a dragon to work with it, so he's going to have to use the Netherspite Historian to pull a dragon. Luckily, that Potion of Madness that he pulled last turn is going to come in handy really quickly and clear out the 2 threatening minions here, allowing him to Netherspite a dragon. Temporis is a meme, Onyxia is too slow, and so Kobold Scalebane is the logical pick here. Let's see. The Unidentified Mole is Champion's Mole, summoning 2 guys, which is always a little uncomfortable to deal with. There are 4 guys out now, where you have to think as the priest player whether or not that alone is worth committing the Duskbreaker, or if you just want to play a bundle of stats like the Kobold Scalebane, for example. And he is going to go for the Duskbreaker. This is going to run into Stand Against Darkness or Call to Arms. That's another good draw. We'll probably see Stand Against Darkness, yeah we do, which allows him to play the free Crystal Lion, which is a very strong play here. Or not free, sorry, a 1-mana Crystal Lion, but similar concept. Draconid Operative off the top isn't bad, but he's now sort of scared about the board he's facing. Sunkeeper Tarim or Lightfuse Stegodon could both make his board very threatening very easily. Wait, does he have lethal? There's no way. Okay, no he doesn't. He has 12 damage, and so he's going, I'm not respecting your Tarim, I'm not respecting your 2 Spellbreakers, I'm just gonna make a big dragon and hit face. Unfortunately, we do see that both Spellbreakers are in hand, and so this is going to get punished very quickly. And Spellbreaker does come out,
shall not save you.
ruining Aaron's hopes and dreams, but I totally understand this play. After a disadvantage like this, you sort of have to high roll to be able to win, and so I don't at all blame him for going for that ambitious play, especially in what's already an unfavored matchup.
Reporting for duty.
So now Aaron's really looking to pull his second Duskbreaker, which he does get. We'll see whether or not he chooses to hold this for one turn, waiting for whatever the next threat to drop is, and instead commit something like Draconet Operative, which is both really good statistically and doesn't use the second AoE. He does choose to run this, or rather use the Duskbreaker, which is going to allow the second Call to Arms to come out uncontested. The only AoE options left to Aaron are his second Potion of Madness and second Potion of Madness and his second Netherspite Historian, potentially discovering a card. Secret Agent coming through. Tarim is not great here just because there's so many minions on Paladin's side, despite the fact that Sunkeeper Tarim is normally a fantastic card. But neither Dark Conviction nor Lost in Jungle are particularly inspiring either. He's going to go for Lost in Jungle just to be able to put a few more things in board on a later turn potentially, and use the Twilight Acolyte to reduce a bit of damage. Divine Favor is a pretty good top deck here. We'll see if he Spellbreakers the Lion. He does, restoring it back to 5 health. And Divine Favor, 3 mana, draw 3. It's not even that broken in this one instance, but still very, very strong. And now he's going to have to think about how exactly he wants to trade on this board, given the various options that he has. Looks like he's going to opt to clear everything. And I do question this a little bit. Actually, no, I don't. He's already in such a dominating position. All he has to do is make sure that the priest cannot take him out with well-timed combo. So yeah, no, on second thought, I totally agree with that play. Master Spell here is used to, I guess, break the taunt, cycle, and break the Direwolf. But it's interesting to see the heal instead of a Talon Priest. I'm not sure I like that. I guess Talon Priest does die to Spellbreaker or some of the other minions, but I feel like he really needs to stats on the board right now. Just sitting here trying to think about what the potential outs are for Aaron. I'm really not seeing that many beyond the second Netherspite Historian pulling another Duskbreaker. Or maybe a crazy... Oh, he might be saving it for like a Potion of Madness lethal. He's gonna need like Potion of Madness, Power Word, Shield, Talon Priest, Alchemist. I guess it's a possibility. He's now facing down what is pretty much death on the board, and so he's gonna need either a miracle there or the Duskbreaker off Netherspite, and he gets neither. He's gonna play second Draconet Operative, doesn't get anything particularly meaningful, and facing 10, 16 damage on board, he is confirmed to be dead. Don't believe Chris is gonna miss this lethal here. He's an experienced enough Paladin player to see, and Aaron's not even gonna give him the chance. He's just gonna bow out gracefully. So that is the series even up at 1 apiece. And the Spiteful, or not Spiteful, I keep getting trolled by Aaron. It's deck list names. The Combo Dragon Priest gone. So Aaron has told me that he is in general very comfortable playing against Dude Paladin with his other decks, especially the Dead Man's Hand Warrior, so we'll see if that's what he pulls out now, or if he is instead going to go for the... going to go for... Wait. Second, I totally deleted the wrong deck. If he's going to go for the Control Warlock instead. He does end up going for the Dead Man's Hand Warrior, which is definitely something I can't fault him for. It's a deck that has so much AoE that can totally just punish this this Paladin deck.
The light protects me.
On the Dude Paladin side, he gets a 1-drop, everything is fine. On Aaron's side, we see Bring It On for armor, good draw on Code Light, Blood Razor to clear early boards, and Brawl to clear some of the bigger ones.
Speak your piece.
I am not at all experienced in this matchup. I play a little bit of Dude Paladin, not much, but I have never seen a Deadman's Hand Warrior on the ladder, and so most of my commentary is going to be speculative here. I think Dirty Rat is not a bad play. There's no particularly threatening minions in this Paladin deck beyond one Crystal Lion, and pulling something like a Spellbreaker or a Tarim is not the end of the world. Rallying Blade here is super strong with the 2 Divine Shields already on board. All of these minions are now at 2 health, which makes it difficult to clear them with a Blood Razor. Nonetheless, we are probably going to see Blood Razor and Blood Razor into the Knife Juggler, and then next turn Cornered Sentry, where he can clear out the Raptors really easily. And that is exactly what we are going to see. Divine Favor is a great pool here for the Paladin player, but it draws 3 cards at current, and I think Aaron is cognizant of the fact that he's constantly going to have to dump cards from his hand. Code Light Oracle is obviously symmetrical draw and won't make the Divine Favor any stronger. But it looks like Chris is going to go face and potentially play the second Rallying Blade. He is. Setting up for potentially Dark Conviction Divine Favor next turn. Dry Whisker Armor is a great pool here. We're going to see Cornered Sentry, Dry Whisker Armorer gaining 12 armor and clearing the board. Amazing. And suddenly this Dark Conviction is not a particularly fun play to make. He might send it into the Cornered Sentry just to bring it to 3-3 so that his Blade can kill it. But no. Instead he's gonna wait a little longer with the Divine Favor. And slowly chip down the Cornered Sentry. Second Blood Razor is a great pool here. We might see the 2-1 go into the 3-3, then Blood Razor come out. That sort of makes sense to me, but I also have zero experience both playing or watching this warrior deck. I'm an aggro player, guys. Me no can go face, me confused. Does look like Aaron was contemplating that line, because I saw him like drag to attack earlier, but he's given it a bit more thought. Potentially thinking if he can afford to delay a bit, play like Bring It On Code Light or something. He is gonna go for the Blood Razor. He does. Never mind, he's not. He's gonna just armor up as much as he can and save the Blood Razor for a more threatening board, potentially in response to a Call to Arms or Stand Against Darkness. There's a pretty easy Dark Conviction, Righteous Protector, and Divine Favor to draw 4 cards from the Paladin here. Gotta be happy about that one. Crystal Lion's a solid pickup. He gets the Sacred Maul. Taunt is not going to be relevant here at all. Call to Arms, on the other hand, is going to be excellent, except for the fact that it plays into this Brawl. We see the Brawl as a one-off in Aaron's deck. I think Dog was piloting a more anti-aggro variant with 2 Brawls and I think potentially some Whirlwinds too. Well, oh wait, there's Whirlwinds in this deck also. I'm not entirely sure what Dog was playing, but I know Aaron mentioned that to me the other day. We may see Slam Blood Razor come out. Yeah, that's what's gonna happen. Slam Blood Razor. Or Slam Dirty Rat? Dirty Rat's a little scarier here. It can pull the Crystal Lion. It does not. It pulls the Archer Protector. Sometimes lucky. And he continues to bulk up and he's back up to 27 effective health. I think we're probably going to see Knife Juggler Call to Arms here as something that just develops a lot of bodies and gets a lot of juggles. And this is playing right into the Brawl that we see. This, I believe, yeah, this is the first Call to Arms, I believe, from the Paladin player. But even so, brings him back down to 12 cards in left deck. And I think there's going to be a pretty easy Code Light Brawl is my guess from Aaron. No, he's going to Shield Block instead, cycling deeper into his deck. Brawl is sort of a foregone conclusion here. He's hoping for one of the lesser value minions, like one of the 1/1s to stay. And it's the 3/3 guy. Oh well, not a big deal. I'd say most of the minions are around the same value on that board. And see a Crystal Lion come out to continue the pressure. Blood Razor deals decently with this board. It takes off the Divine Shield of the Lion, and Light Oracle helps him dig deeper, and he can attack the lion and sleep with the fishies if he wants to clear. But no, he would rather save the sleep with the fishes for a future board that's a little more threatening. Especially since he could do something like Dry Whisker Armorer, attack to proc the Whirlwind, and fishes, which is going to be really strong. Looks like Chris here is going to play the Sacred Maul, taunt up the Crystal Lion before playing Called Arms to try to protect the smaller minions. But this again going to play right into the Sleep with the Fishes that we see. And Call to Arms only pulls one Direwolf Alpha because he's already most of the way through his deck. This is starting to look, I guess, fairly good for Aaron if he can survive the next couple of turns. Shield Block helps him bulk up yet more, and Shield Slam lets him deal with this Crystal Lion no problem. So that's what he's going to go for. I think you may even contemplate not dealing with the small minions. They don't represent a lot of damage, and saving the Whirlwind from the Blood Razor could be big. And that is what he's going to do. Stand Against Darkness is in hand, but you really don't want to play that into a Blood Razor. That's immediate death. Except he can do Steward of Darkshire Stand Against Darkness, which is actually very strong here.
Reporting for duty.
Aaron is now going to be looking for a second Whirlwind effect, potentially from either Scourge Lord Garrosh or one of the two Whirlwinds that he has remaining in his deck. But this can suddenly be a very scary board, especially with Sunkeeper Terran still in this Paladin deck, but he does pick up the Whirlwind. Whirlwind's going to let him do a really easy clear, Whirlwind and attack into the Steward, and that is probably what he's going to go for. Yeah. He's going to take his time and consider his options though, make sure that he's not overlooking anything. He could also potentially, now he needs a double Whirlwind to clear this board. I think he might have been considering shuffling this hand into his deck with Deadman's Hand. That may have been his thought process there. Nope, he's gonna clear this board with double Whirlwind and Cold Light Oracle to dig a little deeper. He knows that he doesn't need the Cold Light Oracle fatigue plan in this matchup. He just needs to be able to outlast the resources of this Paladin. And that is exactly what he's planning on doing. He pulls another Whirlwind, which is gonna let him combo with the Deadman's Hand. Spellbreak is going to come down to deny some draws from the Acolyte, but that's going to stop him from playing Vine Cleaver. Probably going to see Lost in the...
Reporting for duty.
Interesting, so he's going to slowly bide his time. Next turn we might see like a Vine Cleaver, then after that Lost in the Jungle, Life Piece Stegodon. Another Acolyte off the top is more potential draw, and that is what he's going for. He's going to dig with Whirlwind. Trying to find Scourge Lord Garrosh, I believe, which is going to be super strong in clearing out 1/1s forever. Alright, so on this side we're probably going to see Lost in the Jungle. He's going to go for the Vine Cleaver first and follow that up with a bunch of guys in future turns, I suppose. Looks like we're seeing one Lost in the Jungle and Reinforce. Scourge Lord Garrosh arrives, and that is going to be clearing out all of these Silver Hand recruits, no problem. Definitely a welcome draw here for Aaron, and he is going to waste no time in dropping the Scourge Lord and clearing out all these 1/1s. There's just 2 cards left in this Paladin deck. You have to think that he may not have the juice remaining to clear or to win this game, and Chris agrees. He concedes, and we're off to game 4 with a 2-1 lead for Aaron. And so what Chris has remaining is his Spell Hunter versus Aaron's Warlock and Warrior. So I'm not exactly sure about Deadman's Hand's matchup against Spell Hunter, because again, it's not a deck we see particularly often on a ladder. It's been brought to a couple of tournaments, but don't have really great statistics from those. I'm gonna consult Vicious Syndicate to see its matchup against the Control Warlock, which is totally a deck that we see loads on ladder.
Garrosh versus Rexa. Let the hunt begin. Victory or death.
And so as the hunter, you obviously want to throw Yasharaj. You never want to see that in your hand. You want to pull it from Barnes. Barnes has not shown up yet. One of the big win conditions is just turn 4 Barnes into Yasharaj and snowball out of control. Just taking a quick look here. At ranks 4 to Legend, the Control Warlock is favored against Spell Hunter. Good to know. We're gonna see a turn 1 candle shot, not particularly threatening, and Aaron's just gonna happily pass, and probably gonna armor up next turn too, and not worry too much about it. Trading steady shots with armor ups is always good news for the warrior, because this deck is always going to win in the late game, no matter what you're playing against.
Let the pain speak to me.
Candle shot hitting face candle shot hitting face now that he's pulled the Eagle Horn bow, and knows that he can replace the candle shot coming up, which he might have to do to not allow the Acolyte of Pain to draw too many cards. But this is continuing to be fairly inconsequential poke damage. Flanking Strike is going to come out instead to deal with the Acolyte. Makes perfect sense. He's still going to continue attacking the candle shot to free space for the Eagle Horn bow. And this 3-3 Wolf is going to exert a little bit of board pressure. It'll probably be dealt with by the Blood Razor. No, armor up, shield slam. I think Aaron understands that he may not end up with significant armor this game. Although there is a play where he has execute for the Yashiraj, which I guess was the other thing he might have been thinking about. Eagle Horn Cat Trick comes out, and this continues to be a pretty slow start to the game overall. Gonna see more armoring up from Aaron. He does not respect the Cat Trick. He's gonna play Shield Block to cycle, and that's gonna allow the 4-2 Panther to come out and start doing some damage. Spellstone has only three threes, and so instead, Chris is just gonna continue trying to push as much face damage as possible. I'm assuming he may be attacking with Eagle Horn Bow too. Now that has 3 charges, and he is trying to pressure down this warrior as quickly as he can. From the warrior here, Blood Razor Whirlwind allows him to clear the minion without taking damage, and he is going, so that saves him 2 damage, I suppose. And he's gonna set up the Blood Razor to be able to Whirlwind again next turn. One thing of note here is that the Spell Hunter is fairly heavy. It's running 2 Call of the Wilds, which can prove to be very significant damage later on in the game. The medium Emerald Spellstone spawns 3 3s, which have to be dealt with quickly. And so we're going to see Dry Whisker Armor to gain 6 armor, and Attack the Face, and I believe Sleep with the Fishes Sleep with the Fishes after a cycling Battle Rage to get rid of these wolves. Nice, he picks up the second Sleep with the Fishes, even though he doesn't have a Whirlwind effect activated yet. This is something that's going to be significant later on in the game to help him deal with threatening boards. From the Hunter's perspective, Deathstalker Rexar is a nice pull because it gives him essentially infinite zombies that he can use to pressure damage. And yeah, I'm not sure whether or not that is a deciding factor in this matchup. Aaron plays the Skulking Geist, which thins out 6 cards from this Hunter deck, as well as one of his own Whirlwinds, reducing it to 13 cards, but it's still a while yet till Fatigue. And frankly, like, Trackings and Arcane Shots and On the Hunt aren't exactly value minions either. I believe he picked Arfis from that Build-A-Beast, and he's debating what to combine it with. Stealth in general is good because it lets you get face damage, and yeah, it is going to be an Arfis. Bring It On is great here for Aaron, although I think he may wish to conserve this for his Dead Man's Hand package later on. Because obviously against the deck that has pretty much no minions to discount, it's just 2 mana gain 10 armor without a downside. At some point it will hit the Yashiraj, but Execute will do Execute's job. Aaron is just going to start digging potentially with Coldlight Oracle. I think that is what he's mousing over and considering right now. And it sounds like Wesley and Daniel will be restarting again soon, so we'll see. Well, we'll hop into that if it's still going after this series. Is Aaron is going to go with an early Dead Man's Hand. He's not going to go. That means he's not going to be able to go infinite. There's only 1 more Dead Man's Hand in this deck. But I guess with 2 Coldlight Oracles here and 2 more in his deck, and potentially 2 more from another Dead Man's Hand, he believes he has enough mill to end the Hunter here, and he needs to shuffle in I mean, there's some very strong anti-board resources here. Bring It On, a Brawl, and an Execute, and so I believe he's thinking that that is sufficient. So yeah, this is his current Dead Man's Hand package. From the Hunter, Hunter's content to continue to discover Zombeasts. 6/3 Zombeast, I believe, is a Fiery Bat and a Duskboar? No, Fiery Bat and Jungle Panther, my bad. It's 4 mana. Which is another thing that's going to allow him to get 6 face damage if not dealt with. And he got Death Grip, which can steal a minion from his opponent's deck, which will probably let him remove a Cold Light Oracle from this warrior deck at some point, which can be very strong. Explosive Trap is popped, which gives another bow charge. And Aaron commits yet another Sleep with the Fishes to deal with these minions. I'm starting to wonder whether or not Aaron is at risk of running out of resources soon, especially given that there's still 2 Call of the Wilds in this Warlock deck. And Barnes shows up, so now he can use Barnes to pull the Yashiraj, which will pull the Yashiraj. Ooh, the second Call of the Wild burns. That's gotta feel bad. Nonetheless, I think you're pretty happy dropping Barnes and some secrets here. Or no, he's just gonna go for Call of the Wild and push even more face damage. Totally understandable. Makes a lot of sense. He has a kill command remaining in his hand for 5 more potential damage. And Animal Companion, Huffer, 4 more damage. And Aaron is again scrambling to deal with board state. Slam lets him get through to Misha. So Bring It On is going to allow him to heal back out of range a little bit. But he's continuing to have this issue. I think we might see more Code Lights to try to burn some stuff. Like Dead Man's Hand, Bring It On Code Light potentially. But I think Aaron's considering the different lines that he can take with this hand. It's a very complicated deck to play. I think he really doesn't want to shuffle the additional executes into his deck. They're not particularly valuable, but we'll see. Instead, he's just gonna bring it up and armor up, or bring it on and armor up, and he's not going to mill anything. Interesting to see. Second Bring It On, he really wants to heal out of range. Chris continues to not draw his Yashiraj, which means that he can Barnes and pull it out now. But it's a little scary because it's digging even deeper into his deck. Instead, so he's going to first start off by playing an Animal Companion. Misha, not Huffer out of 10. And ooh, Bittertide Hydra could be very strong here. Doesn't look like he selected it. He might just be looking for something he can play this turn. So it's a Scavenging Hyena with pulls an Acolyte, which he never wants to play, and he has Scavenging Hyena with Snowflipper Penguin, which is just a nice bundle of stats. But Aaron's still looking pretty healthy, 32 health essentially, and we'll see if he decides to drop the Code Light. Dead Man's Hand and some Code Lights now. Shuffling 3 executes into the deck feels bad, but they're just gonna keep coming. And so he is going to play second Dead Man's Hand and start overdrawing some cards for this Hunter, burning what is pretty much the rest of his deck, or burning exactly what is the rest of his deck. That includes Yashiraj, Rage Unbound, which was the bottom card in this Hunter deck after showing up in the initial mulligan. Another Code Light gives him some fatigue damage coming up. And on the other side, we're going to see Chris just try to push damage with what resources he has left. Bear Shark is resistant to execute, which could be strong, but we do see that there are 2 brawls in this warrior hand. I feel like at this point warrior may be able to close this out, given how much health he has, but this Hunter continues to be able to push so much face damage with
astonishing.
Yeah, a Timberwolf allows him to get a lot of damage in combination with Leok and TH. We're almost definitely going to see Brawl come out. He's going to Dirty Rat first, potentially. Pull the Barnes? Nah, he knows there's only Barnes. There's no point. Not worth it. Instead, Shield Block to pull yet another Rat. I guess he is going to Rat just to get it out of the way and give him another chance to win the Brawl. And he's going to Brawl away. Let's see who wins. 4 executes, man. And the Dirty Rat does win. Aaron's reward for playing it. Are we gonna see another astonishing? Nope, not yet. So Dirty Rat is a taunt, which is sort of an issue when you're trying to deal face damage. We're probably gonna see something like Deadly Shot, Greater Spellstone, just to push more things on board. Now we're gonna see more zombies. A Wind Fury Arthas. So that's Arthas with a young Dragonhawk. Third Brawl shows up, probably not relevant right now. We're just gonna see Codelight to dig a little deeper and see if he can do anything, and also put the Hunter player deeper into fatigue. And Chris has decided he's had enough and bows out of this game, fairly understandably. So Aaron wins 3-1 and will go on to await the matches from the other side of. Oh no, he'll be going on to play against. Yeah, he will be going on to await the matches from the other side of the losers bracket. Chris is now eliminated and has to be content with what I believe is a